Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
Hello, fellow lovers of liberty. I'm Matthew Dalton.
And I'm Robert Wasmund, and welcome back to the Journalistic Revolution. In this segment of the show, we're going to discuss the militarization of the police and how it kind of ties in with the Rand Paul filibuster that just took place. We're first going to start with something that's been coming out from the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. This source that we're using is the HuffingtonPost.com. Apparently, the ACLU has launched a nationwide campaign to assess police militarization in the United States. Starting Wednesday, the ACLU affiliates in 23 states are sending open records requests to hundreds of state and local police agencies requesting information about their SWAT teams, such as how often and for what reasons they're deployed, what types of weapons they use, how often citizens are injured during SWAT raids, and how they are funded. More affiliates may join in the effort in the coming weeks.
According to Kara Dansky, the senior counsel at the ACLU Center for Justice, we've known for a while now that American neighborhoods are increasingly being policed by cops armed with weapons and tactics of war.
Just a quick cut-in. Remember, instruments of war have no place in the civilian playground theater.
The aim of this investigation, Kara goes on to say, the aim of this investigation is to find out just how pervasive this is and to what extent federal funding is incentivizing this trend.
Apparently, during the Clinton administration, Congress passed what's known as the 1033 program, which formalized and streamlined the Reagan administration's directive to the Pentagon to share surplus military gear with domestic police agencies. Since then, millions of pieces of military equipment designed for the use of battlefield have been transferred to local cops.
You may remember the story from late last year about Paragould, Arkansas, where the mayor and police chief announced that they were going to send the SWAT team out on routine patrols in problem neighborhoods to stop and harass the people who lived in them. After the story made national news, they changed that policy. But how many places is this happening where it isn't making news?
The George Bush administration, actually began scaling down the Brines and Cops program in the early 2000s, part of a general strategy of leaving law enforcement to states and localities. But the Obama administration has since resurrected both programs. The Brine program got a $2 billion surge in funding as part of the 2009 American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, by far the largest budget in the program's 25-year history. Obama also gave the COPS program $1.55 billion that same year, and a 250% increase over its 2008 budget. And again, the largest budget in the program's history.
And in Maryland, the transparency law has shown that police departments in the state are using SWAT tactics in precisely the ways critics have claimed, to break into homes to serve warrants on people suspected of low-level drug crimes. Many times they're not even finding enough contraband to make an arrest. Yet there haven't been any calls in the state to reform the way SWAT teams are used.
Now, this ties into an alarming rate in which cops are killing and hurting innocent civilians in America. As a matter of fact, from right here in Florida, reported by WFTV in Florida, the cops shot the wrong man while delivering the wrong warrant to the wrong house. Deputies said they admitted that they knocked on the door on the door of the wrong apartment, but they said they had to open fire when the 26-year-old Scott came out armed with a gun.
Scott was shot and killed, according to the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Originally, the Sheriff's Office said deputies had announced who they were, but an email the Sheriff's Office sent Sunday revealed deputies didn't announce and identify themselves and called it a minor detail. And on Monday, the Sheriff's Office told WFTV's Kathy Bellich that deputies didn't have to identify themselves at all. Really?
A spokesperson with the Sheriff's Office told Bellich that all deputies saw when the door was open was the muzzle of a gun, and they did what they had to do to protect themselves. But friends of Scott, WFTV talked to, said that deputies are painting them in the wrong light.
A friend of Scott's called him a gentle giant and said he's the one who gave Scott the gun for his protection. He said Scott had just gotten home from working late when the deputies came to his door. A witness who did not want to be identified said, "They banged on the door. They didn't yell out. Lake County Sheriff. They weren't being loud or vocal. The guy opened the door at 2 in the morning."
Now, we've covered cop killings versus drone strikes in a previous video. You can get the link right here. And the question we really should be asking about the militarization of the police is, can we trust a government agency which kills 2,913 reported as homicide by law enforcement from 2004 to 2009 with machines that have killed anywhere between 430 to 635 by conservative estimates, innocent Pakistanis since 2004?
Stay tuned for the next episode of Journalistic Revolution. News you need to be involved in.